Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Amisha Plasso, and today's chapter is going to be coal and petroleum of class 8th. So when we speak about coal and petroleum, these two materials are considered as natural resources. Okay, so now when I say natural resources, let's say we have a daily day-to-day life going on. In that, what are some of the things that are naturally available or which are unlimited to us? So if we have air, we have supply of air, we have water, we have sunlight. These resources are naturally available to us, and they are unlimited in the source. But when we say materials like coal, petroleum, say for example even fresh water, okay, so we may say we have plenty of water, but the amount of fresh water we have is quite limited. So in that case, these resources, they become limited to us. So this is what we are going to see in this today's chapter. So we use various materials for our basic needs. Some of them are found in nature and some have been made by human efforts. So now this is what it says, is that some of the basic needs, like we need air, we need water, we need sunlight. So these are basic things are given to us by the nature. Whereas say we have our food, we have our eatables, consumables, our vehicles that we need to travel every day. These things are human efforts, or they are made by us humans. Now, does this list include air, water, soil and minerals? Since all these are obtained from nature, they are called natural resources. So air, water, soil, then the minerals that are present in that soil, these are given to us by nature. It is a gift of nature. So they are called as natural resources. So now, can air, water and soil be exhausted by human activities? Air won't be exhausted. Soil can also not be exhausted, but say limitation of water is there. Now we say we have plenty of water, but that plenty of water is not completely drinkable for us. We need fresh water, but most of the part of our planet consists of saline water or salt water, which is not consumable. So water thus becomes a limiting resource for us. Now, in the light of the availability of various resources in nature, natural resources can be broadly classified into these two kinds. So we have first inexhaustible natural resources, and we have exhaustible natural resources. So now let's understand what are these inexhaustible natural resources. So these resources are present in unlimited quantity in nature and are not likely to be exhausted by human activities. So now inexhaustible means they are never ending, they won't get exhausted ever. So such resources which are present unlimited, we can access them as much as we want to in the nature and are not likely to be exhausted, means they won't get over at some point of time by our human activities. Such resources are called as inexhaustible natural resources. Examples of this would be sunlight and air. Now say we have been living for years to go now. Every day we get sunlight. Okay, there is no such day where there is no sunlight. Even in monsoons, there is presence of sunlight. When it's not raining, we still get sunlight, which indicates that sunlight is a unlimited source. Okay, but now when we talk about exhaustible natural resources, okay, so the amount of these resources in nature is limited. They can be exhausted, they can be exhausted by human activities. So exhaustible natural resources are the ones which are limited, like they are present in a very less quantity, okay, and after some point, due to over exertion of human activities, they can be exhausted. So now examples of these resources would be what? We have forests, we have wildlife, minerals, coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. So now say we have forest and all. Now to build up big industries or construction sites, we are cutting down forest. So after some point or at some point, we are going to lose this forest. Wildlife, you already know, we say we had dinosaurs. We are saying now that they have become extinct. So they are exhaustible natural resources, means at some point they were extinct, they died and they are no longer present. Similarly, we have coal and petroleum. So in this chapter, we'll focus mainly on coal and petroleum. Okay, so now assume that the eatables in the container present the total availability of exhaustible natural resource like coal, petroleum or natural gas. Each group may have a different consumption pattern. Are the earlier generations of any group too greedy? It may be that the earlier generations in some groups were concerned about the coming generations and left something for them. So now what they are saying is that it's just an activity to tell us how, say they kept three eatables, three containers of consumables or eatables. So now what they are saying is the speed at which those eatables will get consumed depends on how much a person eats. Okay, so now what they are saying is that we have some of the things left with us, like we still have our forests with us, because the people in the earlier generation thought of us that we may be needing them in the near future, so they saved those forests for us. But are we, today's generation, thinking about the next upcoming generation? I don't know, because now we are still cutting down trees, we are burning down forests just to bring up big construction sites, etc. like that. So that is what we need to think. Sustainability, we have to save something for the upcoming generation. In this chapter, we will learn about some exhaustible natural resources like coal, petroleum and natural gas. These were formed from the dead remains of living organisms, that is fossils. So these are known as fossil fuels. So now what they are saying is that coal, petroleum and natural gas, how were they formed? They were formed from dead remains of living organisms. So in earlier generations or maybe centuries back, whatever living organisms died, the remains of their bodies led to the formation of this coal, petroleum and natural gas. Okay, and these remains of the dead living organisms are known as fossils, and therefore they were known as fossil fuels. So fossil fuels are our coal, petroleum and natural gas. Okay, so now let's see what is coal. So you may have seen coal or heard about it. It as hard as stone and is black in color. So coal is basically, they are saying it is very hard. Its property is that it is very hard and it is black in color. Coal is one of the fuels used to cook food. Earlier it was used in railway engines to produce steam to run the engines. It is also used in thermal plants to produce electricity. Coal is also used as fuel in various industries. So now when we say coal is one of the fuels used to cook food, we are saying that when we basically burn down wood or any kind of dry material, what we form or what we get at the end is the coal. Earlier this same coal was used to run engines. So this coal was burned and the steam that was produced was used to run the engines of trains. It was also used in thermal power plants to produce electricity. So that is why we say coal is one of the major supplier of electricity. Also coal is used as a fuel in various other industries. Now let's see what is the story of coal. About 300 million years ago, the earth had dense forest in low-lying wetland areas. Due to natural processes like flooding, these forests got buried under the soil. As more soil deposited over them, they were compressed. The temperature also rose as they sank deeper and deeper. Under high temperature and pressure, dead plants got slowly converted to coal. As coal contains mainly carbon, the slow process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal is called carbonization. So now what they are saying is that approximately 300 million years ago, they had dense forest on low-lying wetland areas. Like they were below the there were mountains and there were low-lying areas. So due to some of the natural processes that occur like flooding, soil erosion, then there is a landscape. So in these cases what happened was the forest that was present got buried under the soil. So years after years, this layer of depositing the soil over this forest increased. Okay, and due to this the temperature also increased higher and higher. So under high pressure and temperature, what happened was these forest remains that were these dead plants and all got slowly converted to coal. So now because coal contains major constituent of coal is carbon, so this process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal is known as carbonization. So as coal contains mainly carbon, the slow process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal is called as carbonization. Since it was formed from the remains of vegetation, coal is also called a fossil fuel. So as we know, coal was formed from the remains of these dead vegetations, that is the forest that went under the soil for years. That is the reason it is also known as a fossil fuel. Fossil indicates the dead remains of organisms. So then when heated in air, coal burns and produces mainly carbon dioxide gas. So when coal we said it is pure carbon. So when you heat it in carbon, there is presence of oxygen, you get CO2. Coal is processed in industries to get some useful products such as coke, coal tar and coal gas. So now what is this coke? So coke, it is a tough, porous and black substance. It is almost pure form of carbon. Coke is used in manufacture of steel and in the extraction of many metals. So now coke is a very hard kind of substance. It is porous, that is it has a lot of open pores inside it, and it is black in color, because obviously coal is also black in color. It is almost the most pure form of coal that we can find, but somewhere it is a substitute of coal. So coke is used in the manufacturing of steel, and also it is used for extraction of many other metals. Coal tar, it is a black thick liquid with an unpleasant smell. It is a mixture of about 2000 substances. The products obtained from coal tar are used as starting materials for manufacturing various substances used in everyday life and in industry, like synthetic dyes, drugs, explosive perfumes, plastic paints, photographic materials, roof materials, etc. Interestingly, naphthalene balls used to repel moths and other insects are obtained from coal tar. So now basic example of coal tar is the tar that is used to prepare or to make the roads. So we have seen already that they get this machine which has like a very hot liquid. It is not a proper liquid, but it is somewhat like slimy. It is a bit thicker side, a little more thicker than the liquid. It is black and it is a bit slimy. So this is that coal tar. It is a black thick liquid, and it has a very unpleasant smell, and it is a mixture of about 2000 substances. That is what they are saying. Coal is the most pure form. Then we have coke, and then we have coal tar. Now coal tar is not pure because it has many other things just apart from coal. So this coal tar is used for manufacturing of different substances, like they make dyes, they make drugs, explosives, they make even paints are made, and some photographic materials like those photographing films and all are made from this coal tar. Even the naphthalene balls that we use in our bags for to avoid insects and some moths, they are also made from this coal tar. So coal gas is obtained during the processing of coal to get coke. So it is used as a fuel in many industries situated near the coal processing plants. So coal gas is like a in between product that is formed. So when we are processing coal to get coke, so somewhere in between we get this coal gas, and this coal gas is used to run it is used as a fuel to run many industries situated in the coal processing plants. Okay, so in today's chapter we learned about inexhaustible natural resources. What are they? Then what are some examples of them? We learned exhaustible natural resources and their examples. Further, we saw what is coal and how coal was formed. We also understood the term carbonization and fossil fuels. Further, we saw some of the useful products of coal, that is coke, coal tar and coal gas. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.